hopefully we still get some content in. Can we have the deductible amounts for each association posted? Sure, the association officers are on the Zoom meeting, so ask them. Yeah, I may be mistaken here, and Sharon would correct me if she's listening, but you can ask for the policy information from Sharon. I mean, that is available to you, and they may have that information. It would come from your association, because I can tell you the deductible amounts are different, as well as the limits on all 5 associations. So I'm not going to speak to anything in particular. I'd be afraid that I'd misquote something. But that information is out there, and definitely something I'll encourage the association to do at the right time. We are going to lock and unlock our downstairs neighbor unit. What time are the crews working? Usually about, I think, between 7 a.m. 7 p.m. That's a good ballpark. Some days may be a little earlier than that in terms of end time. One note here about Sutton Walk not getting communication. I'll pass that on to their board. We're not hearing much from Waterford. Will there be some kind of progress report? Waterford sent out quite a few updates. One went out Friday. I think another one went out this morning, or is getting ready to go out there. So if you're not getting anything from Waterford, maybe contact the front desk, make sure we've got your email. Updates on elevators or any operational. I've not gotten any reports on being operational. I think Waterford, I did hear that they are working with their vendor to put together potentially a repair plan to see if they can get some operational. And I think Sutton Walk and Southmont Cove are probably around that same area as well, now that they've been pumped out and the service teams have been there trying to figure out, what can be repaired, how long will it take to repair it, and that sort of thing. But I don't know of any elevators that are working as of yet. CJC must work to a written schedule and plan. Can this be provided to members? Yeah, I mean, this information is being communicated through your associations in terms of where they're at. So gonna encourage them to now that we've got, at least we will by the end of the day, have all 5 associations up and running. I think that'll be a little easier to put out there. So I'll definitely mention that. Will all owners receive a copy of the water mapping for the units below them? The units below are closed up, no AC on, and filled with types of furniture that were likely flooded. We need the water mapping for our homeowners insurance. Yes, absolutely. We said that I've answered that quite a few times, that definitely that information will be available to you. I don't know where we're at in the process of your association boards receiving that and reviewing it, but we do know, I understand, I've heard from a lot of you that your FEMA and your personal property insurance are asking for that. So that's going to be something that you absolutely will be able to have. We just need to figure out when it is that the association will send that and how to get it to you. Our full-time residents, prior to get us back our homes, will we all be getting the same amount of money from the insurance association? Thinking Granite versus Formica, if that's the same, does not seem to be equitable. So full-time resident priority, again, that's something that's being worked out within each association. As far as getting the amount of money, all of those flood policies is like and kind coverage. That's why the adjuster went into each unit. So the assumption would be is if somebody had granite countertops, they're going to get a higher claim value than somebody that had, let's say, builder's grade or original countertops in there. So that's my understanding of like and kind. Again, once we get the report back from the insurance agencies, then we're going to know, or insurance carriers, we're going to know exactly what that is. Not receiving communication emails from Wedgwood. Has anybody else? Again, I think Wedgwood, I think they just put something out today, or maybe I saw it getting ready to go out today. But they have put out a couple of emails as of late, but I think I saw one this morning that was going out. So Wedgwood should have an update coming here pretty soon if you're not getting it right now. Another question about the rebuild plan. I think I already answered that. Restoration. Can we start to remove appliances in our AC units and get new ones? Yes, absolutely. you know, if you've got appliances or AC units that you want to replace that's not working, proceed with that. Keep the receipts. On the AC side, just make sure they're denoting the damage to the unit being saltwater intrusion. That way there won't be any issues getting that on the insurance claim. A question about mirrors on your existing walls that had to be removed in order to remove the drywall. Are those mirrors going to be replaced? Again, like in kind coverage should dictate that that it would. Remember though, I would expect the adjusters had a lot of work to do, and they still have work to do. I don't expect them all to be 100%. There'll be opportunities to file supplemental claims if we get those reports back and something wasn't noted. Clyde Johnson's making notes in each unit about what they're taking out. So if for some reason that first report comes back and it didn't have the fact there were mirrors on your, your dining room wall, then there'll be an opportunity to put that back in the claim. How can we replace any appliances by ourselves when we do not know when appliances can be installed? Appliances can be installed anytime. We've been saying for 2 weeks now, once we confirm that was included in the plan, that you can go out and replace your appliances, that there's nothing, if they're broken, we know they're going to be included. You can replace them. So at what point will a unit be considered habitable? Seems like shower tile and base cabinets support sinks will need to be replaced before units considered habitable. That's correct. Yeah, that's what we reported last week was, essentially someplace to take a shower, someplace to go to the bathroom, someplace to wash your hands. And then I think there's a couple other minor things like a bedroom door that's needed. Can I answer definitively that appliances and AC units will be covered? If they were broken, if they don't work because of the storm, yes, they are on the policy. We've confirmed that many times. The only issue is if you want to go out and your AC unit's working right now, but your contractor says it ain't going to last. Only thing I've said to people is, I don't know how the insurance carrier is going to take an invoice that says my AC was working, but my vendor said I had to replace it because it may not last for 6 months. I don't know how they're going to handle that. It very well could be the adjuster wrote up every single AC unit in your building and it's covered whether it's broken or not. I just don't know that. So that's the only caution that I've put out there is, if something is broken, then absolutely go fix it. If something's not broken, I suggest run it. Run the AC until it doesn't work. But the other thing is once Clyde Johnson gets into this remediation phase, they will be checking the AC units as well, because having that AC up and running is beneficial to getting these areas fully remediated. But that's the only thing that I've said contrary to the fact that you can replace your AC, you can replace your appliances, garage doors, hot water heaters. You can go do that now and save your receipts. FEMA was here yesterday, picked up most everything, but left our washer dryer combination. That could be, they've got different trucks picking up different things. So I assume we're going to see those FEMA trucks here for some days for sure, getting around the community. But the hope is they'll come back with the truck that's loading appliances and get those. Yeah, I've heard you would like to be notified ASAP if you're using an outside source to remediate. However, it's difficult to do without the water mapping report. I get that. This person must be from Somerset Villas. So yeah, hopefully that information will be available shortly. And will CJC replace hot water heaters in Wedgwood, or do we need to get it done ourselves? CJC is going to be checking everything at some point in time. Those will be checked. Yes, they're not a priority right now, but if you want to go ahead and replace them because they're broken, you can do that. Any update on when we get pickup of items in our yards? I don't know their schedule, but there's multiple trucks in the community right now. I've seen them today. I got reports of people getting things picked up. So I don't know what their path is, where they're going next, but they are here, and hopefully they continue to ramp up. Yeah, here's a good question. Bathroom sinks, kitchen sink, toilets are all laying in our unit. Are they planning on reusing them? Yes, when they're taking these things out, they are trying to save as much as they can. If they're damaged, then they'll end up being thrown away. But the crew that's in there doing the pull out, they're being told to leave them in there if unless it obviously visibly breaks or what have you, and it'll be thrown away at another time. But they're trying to save that. If we're not here, how will we know if electric circuit breakers were turned off and forgot to be put back on? Um, yeah, so they're going. Clyde Johnson went back and they double checked some of this. Was an issue that came up Friday, I think, or maybe it was Thursday afternoon. But they went back, so I don't think we have that issue as much now with circuit breakers being off. At least not that I heard over the weekend. When are property adjusters coming through in Sutton Walk on second, third, and fourth floors? I don't know if Sutton Walk property adjusters have I don't know if they've contacted us yet. I don't recall seeing that on my calendar. So I'm not sure on that one. I don't think Sutton Walk property has contacted us. We stopped by our unit yesterday and found the door wide open. If workers or anyone else is around, is not security catching this. We have asked some neighbors above to keep an eye on our unit because of this. Yeah, I think that's certainly a great idea. I mean, if anybody knows any neighbors in your building, I think you've also got a lot of you have board members that are going through your community daily and checking on things. So, I mean, the more eyes on these situations, the better. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of people working. I mean, as much as I'd love to think that every door gets shut all the time, I think the reality is sometimes it doesn't, or it doesn't close all the way and blows open. So anybody that can be looking around can help. So, yeah. What should we do with the dehumidifiers and air scrubbers if we no longer are using them? So I wouldn't, I mean, unless Clyde Johnson's come around and told you stop using these, then I wouldn't make the decision yourself not to use the dehumidifiers and air scrubbers. And if they are unplugged, please just keep them in your unit for now. Do not put them outside. Do not put them on your front porch. Don't put them in your driveway. But they'll be around to handle that equipment here at some point. What's the plan to remove remaining tile, or does CJC think they can match? Yeah, again, we haven't talked about that. I think matching tile is going to be a challenge. But again, this is the remediation phase, so there wasn't any focus on scrapping the tile that was 4 foot and above. Hopefully, we can have some options in the restoration phase. Another question about how do you know how much money from the insurance to get reimbursed? Again, we don't know that. That'll come through the insurance carrier's report once the adjusters come through. Will CJC replace electrical outlets as part of remediation? Yes, that is happening. They are replacing outlets if they got wet. Who do we contact about lost power in my garage in Wedgwood, not a circuit breaker? You can put a service ticket in on the website, just like we would do in normal times on that, and then we'll route that to the right person. Who will notify us regarding our garage check Sutton Walk mildew? Not sure on that one. Have only received one email from Southmont Cove regarding doors being locked. Have there been some updates? No, nothing's changed in regarding to doors in Southmont Cove. AC went out after storm, reported to Jen. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't need to report to Jen that your AC is out. I mean, if your AC is out, we suggest you call a contractor and see what's wrong with it. And if it needs to be replaced and it's broken and they can't fix it, then save that receipt. But Jen's not going to help with air conditioning units. After 4 weeks, I've seen one CJC crew at building 16410. Where are the other crews? I don't know. There's many crews out there working. I don't know what your order is in your community, but I mean, they're out there and working. Are we hiring security guards for the back gate until it's repaired? Yes, and we'll probably have them even after it's repaired. But again, I mentioned at the start of the meeting here, we've got 2 full-time uniformed guards that'll be watching the back gates as well as doing roving throughout the Lake Village and Waterford and Wedgwood starting this evening from 7 p.m. to 5 a.m. each day. At South Mount Cova, the inspections for the 2nd and 3rd floor units been completed for flood water mapping. No, they have not. We're still at a point for 2nd units and above. If you've checked your unit and you've noted any damage at all, please report that to Jennifer. Send her an email, jrosencrans@lexingtoncountryclub.com, and she'll get you on the list. If there's something that's identified as a priority there, like a window break or something like that, or a roof leak, then it is being handled quickly. If not, it will be included when those units are inspected, when those property insurers come through. If our AC is currently working, is there a time frame in the event it stops working? So Hurricane Irma, there was 3 years to submit a claim or a supplemental claim. So I would envision that we're going to have at least 3 years with Ian. That's not confirmed yet, but that's pretty much typical to have an extended time there. How do we know if our air conditioning unit is working if we're not there? When the CJC crews come in, that's one thing that they're checking, and part of the remediation process is to make sure the air is up and running. They are checking that for you. And they're definitely doing repairs. I mean, their first goal is to try to get it running. And then if they can't get it running, then if they need to replace it, they typically would contact the homeowner at that point. Our CJC teams are moving appliances. How do we verify which appliances are broken if we're not on site? Yeah, I don't think they're removing appliances. No, that's not what I've heard that they're doing to remove appliances. We've said from the beginning, we wanted the unit owners to check that out and to handle that themselves at this stage in the game. Have you heard any updates on picking up recycled trash can? No, I haven't. I know my community down the road last week, recycling was picked up a day late, but they did pick it up. So if you didn't get a recycle pickup last week, hopefully this week they get back on track. Are there any plans to have the street cleaned? Absolutely. I think at some point in time, we'll come through there and get those streets clean. We just want to make sure that we got all the trash picked up and that sort of thing, but that will be part of the plan. If we replace our appliances now and wait for them to be installed, how are we guaranteed that the new construction crews will be more careful than the remediation crew? The remediation crew were not real careful and have damaged things in our unit. We don't want to buy new appliances only to have them damaged. Well, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to do that either. But, I mean, there's a lot of crews working out there. I think for every issue that I've addressed, honestly, I probably heard 10 comments about how great these crews are. We're realistic here. We're going to have to deal with some damage and some broken things. And Clyde Johnson has already shown that they're willing to rectify these. So if something gets damaged in your unit, please let us know that. We'll work with them to get it fixed. But other than that, I mean, we're in a pretty large scale construction project here. And, we're going to have some issues and some accidents that we need to handle. Just heard from Mr. Hone, recyclables are being picked up today in the Villa home. So who will be reinstalling fixtures, sinks, toilets, etc., needed to occupy the unit? Haven't got to that point yet. That's the restoration phase. So letting the associations kind of work out those details. I know there was some talk early on, and this was a week or so ago, about, are there ways to potentially get these units livable on more of a temporary basis to get people back in. And I think there's still consideration to trying to do that. I'm not saying it's going to happen. Will CJC examine AC units on the upper floors? Yeah, eventually, yes. I mean, once they get into the upper floors, those units will also be looked at. What's the name of the insurance company that provides coverage for Wedgwood? Wedgwood would have 2 different insurance carriers, one for flood and one for property. I don't know the name off the top of my head. If you have insurance questions or you want your copies of your association's insurance policies, you can email Sharon and she'll get that. S Landell, LANSLANDEL at LexingtonCountryClub.com. We were told we could store things on top shelves. Getting reports CJC is moving all items from shelves. Please clarify if items can be on top shelves of the closet. I think from what I'm understanding, it also has to do with how those shelves are attached to the wall. I mean, if the braces are lower than 4 feet, or if they don't feel like they could protect whatever's on those shelves by plastic or what have you. I have heard reports that they are moving those. Not in every case, but definitely in some cases. So they're really going into the unit and, they're doing their best to try to be as careful and conscious of what you have in there to protect it. And they're putting everything in plastic. So, if you're here or if you're around and you want to come get stuff off your top shelves, certainly come do that. I haven't heard that that's the case for everybody, but I've definitely heard where people have told me that they thought they were okay with the top shelves and then they came in and that stuff had been moved. So. Only half of our remnants was picked up, as a remainder was too far from the curb. We'll see JC move the rest forward. Yeah, we will. We're going to work with them on this first round and see, if we need to reposition things. They've been doing that in some communities already, trying to reposition these piles to be easier accessible. I have extensive damage on my back lanai. Sliders have been boarded, no railing, screens. Who is responsible for my personal homeowners or association master plan? Yeah, we think that that's going to be covered, especially ground floor on your association master flood coverage. But again, that's one of those things where I think you have to wait until we get that first report back to confirm that. But that would be the assumption, is that's going to be on the master association flood policy. CJC has turned off my AC unit. Can I turn it back on? I would say maybe send me an email on that with your address. I do know what they're doing is when they come in to cut drywall, they are turning off AC units so all that dust doesn't get collected in. And I have gotten reports that someone's forgot to turn 1 or 2 units on here and there. So that does happen sometimes. So I would say if you were in there and your AC was working and now they got the drywall cut out, then go look at your breaker box. Chances are somebody just didn't flip that switch. That would be my guess. But if you want to send me your unit number and your name, I'll look into it. I could use another air scrubber dehumidifier as wet boxes were put back in my master bedroom closet and boxes were rotting. Just found out about this 5 days ago. So if you want to send an email to me, I'll certainly pass it on to Clyde Johnson in terms of getting you more equipment if they have it. I don't have any idea when the drywall is going to be installed. And the next part is about renting. I think we've told everybody it's too early to call right now where we're going to be at in the process come January. But I think most associations, I've seen communications out there to, at the very least, put your renters on notice, that January 1st may or may not be a date. We just don't know that yet. So. Is CJC performing mold testing in all units during remediation? No, they're water mapping as opposed to mold, but I mean, they're visually inspecting for mold as they cut open walls, et cetera. And mold's remediated as soon as it's found. Should we remove stove, refrigerator, washer, dryer ourselves, or would the contractor remove these when they replace the cabinets? If you know that those appliances aren't working, I would suggest, if you have the wherewithal, to get those out of your unit. It will make that process a lot easier. And yes, good point. If you're going to remove something like that, take photos of those appliances. Also, maybe make sure you get a photo of the serial number that's on the appliances too. So, how does CJC contact you if issues are going on in your unit and need to get in touch with you? They communicate through us, through Lexington. Do we need to report lanai sliders and screen door damage, or do we have this repaired on our own and it will be reimbursed? Yeah, for right now, especially if you're on a second floor or higher, if you want to proceed with getting that repaired, the assumption is those damages are going to fall underneath your association's property insurance coverage. Again, we won't confirm that until we hear back from the insurance agencies. But if you want to proceed with that and keep your expenses or keep your receipts, please do. Just know if you're repairing things like that or repairing hurricane shutters, et cetera, just remember that if you're replacing with the same style, color, et cetera, you do not need an A&E. If you're making any change at all, though, you do need an A&E for that. So please don't forget that. If you're just replacing or repairing and the look isn't changing, then no A&E is required. Will the front doors be replaced in the first floor units? Yes, the doors are covered under the master flood. How long have insurance companies told you it would take to prepare their reports? The insurance companies haven't told us anything. I've spoke with adjusters that say typically once the adjusting is done, depending on how involved it is, it's usually a week or two for them to submit their reports. And then typically, at least in normal times, the insurance agency has something for you within 45 days or so. But again, I don't put any value to any of those numbers. They could be shorter, longer. That was just from the adjusters that I talked to trying to understand how this process works. Can we remove damaged toilet sinks from unit if they are still in our unit? Yeah, I wouldn't do that right now. I mean, if they're damaged, CJC will take care of those. But I mean, I again, especially if you've already vacated, I wouldn't come back just to remove those out. Are there concerns about dryers drying out our PVC pipes? First, I heard of that one. I haven't heard that before, so I'm not really sure on that. What about cracks in the tile floor that water has gotten into? Will those floors be taken up? Yeah, I mean, if it's found that any water got underneath your tile floor, then that tile floor will need to come up. But I can tell you from what I've heard, most tile has made it. I think I just answered the question on damaged screens. Will damaged screens be replaced? I would think that's part of the policy as well. Yes. You're talking about like window screens, things like that. My lanai frame on first floor in Bridgestone Court is damaged. Is that covered? We think that will be with the flood policy, but again, we'll need to confirm that once we get that first report. So. I'm out of questions here. Give you a minute or two if you got something else for me. Will sheetrock be cut in all walls? For the most part, most people are getting a full remediation. So that's a full 4-foot cut around the entire unit. So there are isolated cases where the water didn't take over the entire unit, or maybe there was no water at all. But again, those are really the exceptions. Can renters move in by January 1st if unit on second floor or higher if no damage, and will building report be needed to say it's habitable? Right now people are living in the second floor. So I don't know of any plans or any discussions that we've had that says rentals from the second floor up aren't allowed. So, I mean, if you've got, other damages, that need to be taken care of after January 1st, we may have to work around your renter that's in there. But I don't know of anything that I'm been privy to in terms of conversations that say people can't rent, on units that are livable, which would be the second floor and up. Can I schedule CJC to remove furniture? We'd rather you not. We're really trying to reach out and let you all know if you've got furniture in your unit, get somebody else to do that. I mean, the more that CJC does, the higher their bill is for your association, and B, the less time they have to continue focusing on really what they're here for. So strongly suggest if you've got furniture that needs to come out of your unit, certainly by now you need to be taking care of that through some other sources. I mean, we're 26 days post storm at this point, so that really needs to come out. Are all the adjusters looking at windows? Will they potentially be replaced? It's potential. They did look at windows. I know certainly on the second floor and up, that'll be a big part of the property claim is to look at windows. Have the mirrored walls been taken out yet in Somerset Villas? I'm not sure. I mean, they will be if they're within 4 feet of the floor, but I don't know what's been taken out so far in Somerset Villas. Is there going to be an option on replacing our upper cabinets so they match the lower cabinets? Potentially. Again, that's restoration phase, and we're still kind of working through all those details. The upper floors had damage to lanai sliders and screens. Yeah, and if you did, and we've said this before, I mean, if you want to proceed with contacting a vendor to get that repaired, save your receipts. I mean, there's certainly a lot of confidence that that's going to be included in the insurance claim once we get to the property side of this. So if you want to have those things tended to, feel free to contact a vendor and do that. When will the pool be filled at the Tiki Bar? I didn't get an update today yet from Tyler, but I thought we were getting close. They had some pretty extensive cleaning to do there. And then they also have some equipment repairs that are going on. I know there was a pump issue, so they were waiting for that to be replaced. And I believe the heater needs to be replaced. So once those are replaced, they can then fill the pool. Does that include closets and pantries, replacement of sheetrock? Yes, absolutely. I mean, if those areas took water, yes. Yeah, somebody's asking if, not sure if appliances work, but I know they had water in them. Yeah, I would think, if you had water inside your appliances, I don't believe that's safe. What I would do is take a picture of those, make sure you get your serial number, be prepared to document, that it had water, or at least note that if the time comes. I do know an adjuster that was in one of the associations that basically was just writing up all appliances on his report. So every adjuster is different on how they handle this. I mean, the one that came in just wrote down dishwasher, stove, and refrigerator replacement, and then noted what those serial numbers were in his report as he was doing it. He told me he was doing it that way. So, but if it had water in it, I wouldn't use it. When will garages be remediated? That'll be once we get everything underway and full going with the first floor units. Focus will turn to the garages and some of the walkways up to the second floor. When will I know in Bristol Bend water mapping results and if 2-cut or 4-cut will be done? Hopefully your association will be providing you that information here very, very soon. Will granite be credited if the seam breaks? Yes, it will. All the adjusters said the same thing. They said they're going to note on the report that they're asking the remediation company to save those countertops, but they also admitted off the record that they know that's not going to happen. Many of them will break, and so he said that they would be included. That's what they told us. We're not in Lexington. We left. We were asked to, if we find something has been damaged by a crew, what is the timeline to report damage? There's no timeline. I see what you're saying. You're not here. You don't know if something's damaged. You come back. We did suggest early on, if you were leaving, take some pictures of some things that you left behind. We know there's going to be cases we're going to have to deal with in that regard. So there's no timeline. I mean, Clyde Johnson's going to be here for quite a bit, and trust me, I mean, they've worked with us, and obviously not everything goes to plan and not everything works perfect, and we don't always not make mistakes, but one thing that group has done is they've reacted very well when we've had to deal with things. So credit to them, and I don't see that changing. I have several chipped or cracked tiles on my floors. Will they remove and replace these tiles? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you're saying that the crack and chips were there from the damage and water got underneath them, then yes, they would remove them. If they've just been cracked or chipped and you want to have a choice to do something different, that would be in the restoration phase. How will CJC get behind and around air conditioner water tray on floor under unit was overflowing with water? I'm not sure for sure, but I know they're going to check all of them. I mean, the same way that any vendor would do that. So I'm not sure what you're describing there in particular, but I mean, they're going to check them as they get into remediation in your area. Where should I place the furniture outside? We reported on several occasions. you know, hopefully maybe they've already come through and picked up around your area, but essentially different piles. You know, you want a pile for furniture, a pile for housing remnants, a pile for landscape debris, a pile for appliances. I'm confused. I'm on the first floor. My appliances run. My personal flood insurance said they should go and took the serial numbers. Will Lexington's policy pay for my appliances? Yes. Again, appliances are on the master flood coverage. They will not be on your person. They will not need to be covered under your personal policy in terms of coverage. So I think I answered it. Can I put a report to maintenance to have my front door locked due to wind damage coming through unit because of broken windows doesn't shut correctly? Yeah. I mean, if you want to send me your address, I can have somebody look at that for you. But again, I think all associations have been consistent about how to proceed with your doors. We would like our windows replaced since they leak. Can we opt to get a better grade window? Again, you can, and you can opt to do whatever you want in the restoration phase. I mean, the insurance may not cover that, but you'll have the option to make upgrades at that point. Any status on the millstone pools? No, but I hope maybe later this week I can give you more of an idea. Now that they've got the tiki pretty much cleaned up, I know they were working their way, and I don't quote me, but I thought Tyler said they were starting on the one Wedgwood pool, and they're going to be working around to get the association pools up and running. So hang loose on that. What's going on with the lobbies in Sutton Walk? They'll be remediated. So once they get through Bridgestone, they'll move right to those lobbies on the Sutton Walk side to remediate those, but those will get full remediation. Can we use our garages in Somerset to store boxed items? Yeah, I mean, people have asked that before. What I've said is, you know, understand that they may have to come in there and remediate. So maybe just put those things in the middle of the garage, give them space to move around. My garage door lower panel is porous. Will that be replaced by CJC or should I go ahead and replace it? I mean, CJC will eventually look at those things, but I would suggest if you can get it replaced now, go ahead and do that. Is CJC working on weekends? Yes. Will CJC clean our floor tile? Yes, they will. Most of the tile that'll be left there will get a deep clean, sanitize, and if needed, a regrout from my understanding. When does remediation start in Sutton Walk buildings? The Sutton Walk side buildings would be second floor residential units. So that'll be once the first floor over on Bridgestone get going. But they will be over there in those lobbies fairly soon. Murphy beds, they're going to remove those. Time will tell here. I have not gotten a guaranteed answer from any adjuster. So we'll see if those end up being covered under that like and kind coverage. But they are having to remove those Murphy beds because of the drywall cut. What's the status of Wi-Fi? I don't know. I haven't heard any reports the last couple of days of any Comcast issues, even though I'm sure there's some still out there. But I know at the clubhouse, we have not had issues with Wi-Fi. If cabinets were removed from any room and tile was added after their installation, who will replace tiles if we have extra? I'm not sure. Sorry. Just going to reread that again. Cabinets were removed from any room and tile was added after their installation. Who will replace the tiles if we have extra? And then screen damage from storm, is that covered? Yeah, again, I think we think the screens are damaged. If you want to proceed with getting those repaired, please do so. When they cut sheetrock behind my water heater, will they have to remove the water heater? They may, I'm not sure. I've heard that question before, but I mean, if they got to cut the sheetrock and the only way to do that is remove the water heater, then they would do that. After remediation, how long will walls stay open? I'm not sure on that. I don't know what the rule of thumb is with how long they're open. I know they're still doing moisture readings and things like that. Your Wi-Fi is still out. Who should I inform? Unfortunately, that's going to be a Comcast issue. We really don't have any more pull than you guys do with trying to get through to Comcast. I know it's difficult, especially now. maybe now that things are up and running a little better across town, it's easier to get to them, but you're going to need to call Comcast if you've got a Wi-Fi issue to see if they can correct that for you. Okay, guys, I'm going to run. Been about an hour. We'll see. Probably do another one of these on Wednesday. And in the meantime, if you need something, just let us know. Thanks.